Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 10th, 2025, and Barcelona are seriously considering the signing of a Colombian prodigy named Neyser Villarreal. Also, the club are closely tracking and monitoring the situation of Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United. And finally, Neymar Jr. is back at it again. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News Live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we analyze Barcelona news and where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through all the discussion and just get straight to the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kits, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first bit of news, it's composed of several bits of news all combined together, but it all has to do with the same exact topic because, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow the Champions League is officially back. Barcelona will play the second leg of the round of 16 against Benfica at home at the Olympic Stadium, Luis Companys. And of course, today the team trained for the last time ahead of tomorrow's match. The training was supposed to start at 11, but it actually started late. It started 45 minutes late because it looks like Hansi Flick was doing some video sessions with the players. So it looked like our German coach is already, breaking down Benfica's tactics and coming up with a way of how to defeat them. And hopefully that will pay off tomorrow on the field. And hopefully Barcelona will take home victory and will be able to qualify to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Now, today during training, we did see, or it was visible, that Robert Lewandowski trained with normalcy. And that's, of course, good news. As you know, Lewandowski was excluded from the lineup against Osasuna in that match that got suspended over the weekend because he was feeling some overload. It's no serious injury. It's not pain or discomfort. He simply had some muscle overload. So Flick decided to exclude him out of the lineup against Osasuna. Of course, that match ended up getting suspended because of the sudden death of Dr. Miñarro. But Lewandowski was seen train normally again. So that means that the Polish striker will be available for tomorrow's match. Now, of course, one player who will not be available for tomorrow's match is Pau Cubarsí, who did receive a red card during the first leg against Benfica. And it's expected that Ronald Araujo will be replacing him. And hopefully, alongside Iñigo Martinez, the two will be an absolute wall, and they won't allow Benfica to cause us any problems. We do have to, of course, be a little bit worried, I guess. Well, maybe not too worried, but some concern because as far as Araujo building up from the back, we know that's not really his strength, but we do have Iñigo Martinez, who is excellent on the ball. But hopefully, tomorrow that won't be any problems. Now, Iñigo Martinez will have to be careful because if he does get a yellow card tomorrow, he will be suspended for the quarterfinals, assuming, of course, if that Barcelona qualified to the quarterfinals. Now, since we won't have Pau Cubarsí, well, Benfica will also not have two players. The first one is Di Maria. Di Maria has been ruled out due to injury. That, of course, is good news. Of course, I wish Di Maria a speedy recovery. I hope he becomes healthy as soon as possible, just not tomorrow. Wednesday, please, in the morning. If you want to be healthy then, by all means, but not tomorrow. And the second player who will not be present is Álvaro Carreras. And this one is huge because both matches that we played against Benfica, the first leg of the round of 16, the group stage match against Benfica, Álvaro Carreras was an absolute nightmare. He was an absolute nightmare. He was destroying us on our right flank or left flank of Benfica. And he's not going to be available tomorrow. So thank you, Lord Jesus, because, well, we dodged a bullet with that one. So neither Di Maria nor Álvaro Carreras will be available tomorrow. Hopefully, again, Barcelona will be able to bring home a victory, because after all, Barcelona are playing for two reasons tomorrow. The number one reason is, of course, to be respected once again on the European stage after so many blunders in the Champions League for so many years. And the second reason, the team, as Hansi Flick put it, will be playing tomorrow in honor of Dr. Carlos Miñarro Garcia, who, of course, suddenly passed away on Saturday. So the team will be playing in his memory, and hopefully the team will be able to turn that pain of losing such a close person into fuel, and hopefully they'll be able to bring them a victory, because I know if Dr. Miñarro if he was able to speak to the players, I'm sure he's going to want them to go out there, do their best, play as good as they can, because after all, he did dedicate his life to these players. He dedicated his career so these players can be healthy, so they can be as great as they can be. So I'm sure Dr. Miñarro will be watching tomorrow's match from the sky, from the heavens, and I'm sure the players tomorrow will not disappoint him and will put on one hell of a spectacle. Now, I'm sorry to end this emotional note on a bad one, but since we are talking about the Champions League, we do have to talk about, of course, the derby. We have Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid playing in the Champions League. The second leg, of course, the first leg, Real Madrid won 2-1. The second leg will be at the Atletico Madrid's stadium, which I know it has a new name, but I'm so used to call it Wanda Metropolitano. I'm just going to keep calling it Wanda Metropolitano. And then the referee has been announced. It's no other than the Polish referee, Simon Markniak. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with Polish names, but check out this picture. I will make it a little bit bigger. That's the Polish referee. He will be reffing again the match between Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And check out his toiletry bag. If you don't know what a toiletry bag is, it's where you keep, your toothbrush, comb, deodorant. It has an interesting logo on it. And no, it's not the Polish flag. Hint, it's a Real Madrid logo. I guess that's not a hint. It's more of an answer. I'll let you guys make your own conclusions. I'm not going to say more. I'm tired of saying more. So there's the picture. That's the ref that's going to be ref in the second leg. But anyways, tomorrow, guys, Champions League. I'm so excited. Of course, there will be a post-match live analysis. So I will be here. Hopefully, all of us will be celebrating our qualification to the quarterfinals. But Champions League, let's go. All right, let's do the comment section. And then we will talk about the Colombian Prodigy that Barcelona are trying to sign. And Andrew says, good day, Mo. I'm watching from Monrovia, Liberia. Mo, you need a visit to Africa, man. What do you think? Wish the best team, FC Barcelona, all the best as they go on the second leg with Benfica. I'm dying to go to Africa. There are several nations that I wanna visit. I wanna go to Ghana. I wanna go to Nigeria. I wanna Northern Africa too. Like Egypt, Morocco. I wanna go to South Africa. I would love to do some safaris. I know they're expensive, so I guess I'll have to save. But I would love to see, animals the way they're supposed to be seen. Out in nature, not caged up in some zoo, not caged up in some freaking circus, but out in the wild, roaming around. That's how animals are supposed to be watched. And I would love to do that. I would love to see elephants and giraffes and lions, etc. And of course, again, all the nations that I just mentioned. I don't know anything about Liberia, but if you invite me, I would love to go too. All right, let's see. We do have a donation. My goodness, my friend, you need to stop this. You are being way too generous. Thank you so much, Texas Transplant, for your generosity. Thank you for always supporting this channel. But Texas Transplant says, I really hope to see the team have a fire in them to not only win this match handily, but also to keep that remembrance of Mr. Carlos with them and win the whole thing for him. I'm hoping to see a 6 on our Champions League patch next season. Visca Barca. Well said, my friend. As I mentioned a few moments ago, tomorrow the team has 2 reasons to win. Number 1 is, of course, to be respected once again on the European stage. And the number 2, which is the bigger reason for me, is to go out there and win this for Dr. Carlos Miñarro Garcia, who dedicated his life to this team, dedicated his life to these players, to keep them healthy, to help them when they were sick, to help them when they were injured, so they can be as great as they could be. So I think the least we could do is tomorrow for the players to go out there and have the best match of their lives for Dr. Carlos, who was very close to them. As we know, the locker room was devastated with death. In fact, it's reported now that they had actually had lunch with him. And then after lunch, everybody went back to their rooms. The team, after they took a little break, the team then went down to a bus and they were like, "Where's Dr. Carlos? Where's Dr. Carlos?" And then that's when somebody from the staff went to check on him. They found him, of course, unresponsive in his room. They decided not to tell the team. They let the bus just go to the stadium. And then, eventually John Laporta went to the stadium, went into the locker room, broke the news. Of course, it was absolutely, heartbreaking. It was devastating, especially how young he was, and it's, when someone dies of old age, 80, 90, of course, it still hurts. I've lost grandparents, but you kind of prepare for it, right? Because that's a natural cycle of life. You get to, you live, you're born, you live, you get old, you die, right? You kind of prepare for it a little bit. It still hurts, obviously. I'm not gonna say it's, oh, he died, okay, haha, he was old, so I don't care. No, obviously you still care. But when someone dies just like that unexpectedly, you don't have time to prepare for it. So it hits a lot harder because you don't prepare for it. You're not ready for it. And to have had lunch with the guy and then like an hour later he's just gone, just like that. It's awful. It's awful. But hopefully the team tomorrow can turn that pain into fuel and they can come out there and play their best for Dr. Carlos, because that'd be a good way to honor his memory, to celebrate his life, because death is not just about being sad. Death is also celebrating other people's lives. And when I say celebrate, I don't mean go to the club and get hammered, but I mean, celebrate that this person, the achievements this person had, the all the lives that this person touched, all the difference that this person made, because after all, life is sacred, and it's the fact that we're here on earth. The chances of you being born is like one in I don't know how many millions. So life is a miracle. We should always appreciate it. And when someone dies, I think we should always celebrate their life, because it is something to celebrate. So hopefully tomorrow the players will come out full guns blazing, do it for Dr. Carlos Miñarro Garcia, and hopefully they have the best match of this season yet. H. Andrew says, oh, wait, I already read this. Sorry. Mark says Mo is about to take his victory lap, talking about how we shouldn't sign Neymar. I agree. I'll talk about Neymar in a little bit. It's not really a victory lap because, I like Neymar. That's the whole thing. I like Neymar. When he came to I used to watch him when he was at Santos. And, I was such a fan of him. To me, he was like magic, right? And then when he came to Barca, it was like one of the happiest days of me as a Barca fan. Like I was like, Neymar, like, yes. And then what he did with the MSN, I mean, oh my God. I mean, the most magical trident in history, period. Not in history of the club, but in history of football. And then, he left and his career just went downhill. So, it's not so much celebrating because I like Neymar a lot, and it pains me to see what he did with his career, because he could have easily been eating at the same table as Messi, Maradona, Pelé. But instead, he decided that partying, that women, that drinking, that was more important to him, I guess. It is a shame. It's a shame because, again, he could have been one of the greatest. Like a footballer's career is so short, right? If you become professional by, let's say, 18, you're only going to play to 32, 34. That's what, 14, 15 years max. You have the rest of your life to party. If you live up until 80, you have 50 years of partying, but only like 15 years to play. Like, dude, just sacrifice those 15 years, play, and then you can party all you want. You can do all the drugs you want, drink all the alcohol you want, sleep with all the women you want. Like, I don't get it. If I was given a shot to play professional football for even a year, I mean, I would put everything away. I'd be like, whatever. Like, I'm not watching TV. I'm not playing video games. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to focus, because it's such a privilege to be able to make money, and a lot of freaking money, to play a sport. Like, who doesn't want that? And you get that chance and you squander it because you want to party. Like, dude, you can party anytime. You can party after you're done. Like, I don't know, man. But anyways, let's get back to the news. I don't want to make this any longer, but let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about the Colombian prodigy that Barcelona are seriously considering signing, and it's no other than Neyser Villarreal. Now, if you don't know who Neyser Villarreal, he's a 19-year-old center forward, currently plays in the first division of Colombian football. He plays for Millonarios, which is a first division club in Colombia. He was the golden boot in the most recent South American under 20 competition. If you don't know what that competition is, it's pretty much kind of like Copa America, where all the South American teams face each other, but this is for the under 20 squads, right? So it's the same thing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because that's when a lot of talent gets discovered, right? That's where, for example, Edric was discovered. That's where what's his name? I think Vinicius was discovered in Sudamericana. I think Vitor Roque. But anyways, it's a big deal because even though it's a Copa America, but for under 20 teams, that's where a lot of young talent is discovered. That's where all scouts usually go to watch what's the next big thing coming out of South America. And while Neyser Villarreal, he was the golden boot in that competition. He was the maximum goal scorer, only 19 years old, again, center forward. And what's happening is that he's currently at war with his current club, Millonarios, and he doesn't want to renew. Now, his contract expires in December because, of course, seasons there are different. I'm talking about football seasons, not climate seasons. But his contract expires in December. So at the end of this year, he doesn't want to renew. He's refusing to renew, which means that one of the most promising young talents to come out of the South America will be a free agent. Something that does not happen that often. Usually these youngsters, these promising youngsters out of South America, cost an arm and a leg. And this guy will cost nothing. Absolutely free. Now, here is the great news because, of course, being a very promising player, half of Europe want to sign him. Everybody and their mothers want to sign him. But he prefers Barcelona. And in fact, an intermediary has already reached out to the club to let Barcelona know, hey, this guy likes you. And hey, this guy doesn't want to renew. So you have a golden chance, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to sign a promising player out of South America for free. So Barcelona, of course, once they got this call, they started mobilizing. They are very, very seriously considering to sign him. And the only thing I have to say to Barcelona, what are you waiting for? I mean, Deco should hop on the first plane out of Barcelona and sign this player immediately. Immediately, because he's free, right? 19, center forward, incredibly promising and free. Hey, if he comes and ends up being another Vitor Roque and he fails, who cares? It's free, right? But if he comes and he ends up being the next best thing, dude, you just signed the next best thing for free. So it's a win-win situation. So I don't think this is this is a no-brainer, and I think Barcelona should definitely sign him. But of course, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So let me know in the chat section or in the comment section. Should Barcelona sign Neyser Villarreal? All right, let's get back to the chat section. Then we are going to talk about another promising young player, Kobbie. And no, not the Black Mamba. May he rest in peace. Mainoo. All right, Curtis says, this is the same reason why I don't want Neymar at the club. He will be a very negative influence on our young players. 100% agree with you. Again, we'll talk about it in a little bit. And Hansi, what are you doing here, bro? You have a match tomorrow. You're playing a Champions League. You should be sleeping. But Hansi says, it's nice to catch your live, Mo, since I live in the UK and it's difficult to do sometimes from time difference. Visca Barca, let's win tomorrow. Well, thank you, my friend, for your sacrifice, for staying up late to watch the live. I really, really appreciate it. I know it's very late right now in the UK. It's what, like maybe about to be 2 in the morning? Is that right? 6 and 8? Yeah. If my math is correct, it'd be 2 in the morning. So thank you, my friend, for staying up. I really, really appreciate it. And Wisdom says, hey, Mo, chatting from Zged in Hungary. We need to win Benfica for the doc and win La Liga for Sofia. Sofia, the Princess Sofia? Or which Sofia? Or is it Sofia Vergara? I'll win a league for her. Emmanuel Rogers says, Mo, my man, how are you doing? What do you have? What do you have? A great news for me tonight from Liberia. Oh, I think that Neyser Villarreal is good news. I mean, that guy's has potential of coming free to Barcelona. I'll take that any day. Yamal's New World Order says Barca needs to go first for Sesko, an affordable world-class potential striker for the left wing. We should convince Nico Williams. That guy has all the tools to be the best left winger in the world. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. And Sean says, good night, all. I hope tomorrow we don't start off slow, lacking intensity like we have in the last few matches. We need up for it from minute one. Absolutely agree with you, my friend. I think that's been a common problem with Barcelona every match where they come out slow, but hopefully tomorrow that will be not the case because Benfica have learned their lesson and they're going to come, they came out swinging the first time during group stages and boom, 3 goals in the first half. Second match, they knew that. And they also came out swinging. Thankfully, Wojciech Szczesny was there to stop their shots. But if I would take a gander, I'm pretty sure tomorrow they're going to come out swinging too because they've seen that Barcelona start all their matches asleep. And that's the perfect time to cause some damage. Plus, they are going to have to come out swinging anyway because they're down and they need to, get back into the match. Orlan says, hi, Mo, I'm so happy and tomorrow we will win. Just tell my girlfriend and she promised to give me a kiss if we win tomorrow. Well, my friend, I hope we win, not just for the sake of the team, but for your sake too, so you can get that kiss from your girlfriend. Abdulli says, Barca, we will win the Champions League. Real don't even come near us in terms of performance. I hope so, my friend. We are very long overdue for a Champions League match. It's been, 9 years? No, 10 years. My God. Yeah, we're due for a Champions League. So hopefully. But let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about another promising young player who's, of course, no other than Kobbie Mainoo. There you go. Kobbie Mainoo. I don't know why I couldn't say his name. Kobbie Mainoo, if you don't know by now, I'm sure most of you have heard of him. He's a 19-year-old midfielder who came up through the Manchester United Academy. He's kind of like the next best thing to come out of their academy. He can play in different positions in the midfield. He can be a center midfielder. He can be an attacking midfielder. He can be a defensive midfielder. Pretty well-rounded midfielder. Got speed, dribbling, ball control, good vision of the field, reads plays pretty well. A really, really talented midfielder. Again, 19 years old. He's one of the most promising players to come out of the Manchester United Academy in most recent years. And, well, bad news for Manchester United because Kobbie Mainoo, despite being their prodigal son of their academy, he is asking to leave. Of course, as someone who is very promising, who has a very bright future ahead of him, he's looking around and is like, what the F am I doing here? This is a total shit show, which I don't blame him. And as such, has decided to leave. Now, by the way, how crazy is what Manchester United are going through? I mean, to go from one of the biggest clubs ever to being in such a hole for so many years. Now, don't get me wrong. All big teams go through rough patches. No big team is immune from rough patches. But my God, this is not a patch anymore. I mean, they've been just doing horrible for so long. But anyways, I hope they get out of their misery not because I have some affinity to Manchester United. I couldn't care less. But, it's just good for football to have more clubs who can, hopefully they don't become the next AC Milan, where they too were in some of the best clubs in the world. And then for the past, 20 years, 15 years, it's just not it, right? So I hope they get out of the hole that they're in. Again, not because I'm some big Man U fan, just because it's better for football if more clubs are doing well. But anyways, so Kobbie Mainoo looking around, he's like, okay, I can't play in this hot mess. So he's decided to leave. His contract expires in 2027. But it's reported that he wants to leave this summer 2025. And of course, Barcelona are closely tracking the situation. They want to see what's going to happen. Is he going to end up leaving? Is he not? If so, how much money Manchester United going to want? So Barcelona for now tracking the situation. This doesn't mean Barcelona are going to sign him or they're trying to sign him. They're just sitting back and be like, whoa, hold on a minute. We got a very promising midfielder looking to leave his club. Let's watch this. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can get out of this. Now, as far as objectively speaking, as a player, I would totally sign him. But the question is, where the hell do you put him? Right? We have a million midfielders, and I would hate to sign such a talented young player only for him to arrive and we'd be like, oh, sorry, we don't know where to put you because, well, we have a million midfielders. Now, if it was up to me, Manchester United have been after Frankie for so long, I would more than glad to swap the two. I mean, a 19-year-old for a 26-year-old any day of the week. But that's just my prerogative. You guys let me know what do you think. Should Barcelona try to sign Kobbie Mainoo? Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this podcast once it ends. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we are going to talk about Neymar because, ladies and gentlemen, he is back at it. Are you surprised? Because I am not. Solitude. Okay, Solitude talking a Texas transplant. So I will read another comment of his. Says, I love Neymar, but it's time to move on. Signing Neymar will only make us have a temporary solution when this club should strive for long-term solutions at the left wing position. We have to move on. I agree with you 100%, my friend. We shouldn't be looking to sign 33, 34-year-old players. We should be looking to sign younger players, or at least players in their prime, 27, 28. Not someone who's going to come for one season and that's it. Plus, I don't even think he will be a solution, period, because he's just done. He's finished. Texas Process says, not sure if you knew, Mo, but Neymar is yet again injured there in Santos. I'll talk about it in a little bit. There's more to that injury. But Emza says, morning, Mo. I hope Mr. Flick plays Casado tomorrow. I really like his intensity. I think we can use a player like him in a knockout game like this. One will play, like the one we'll be playing. I think with Benfica, because it really all depends on how Benfica are going to come out, right? If Benfica come out really offensive, I think Casado would be a good option to try to hold the midfield because he does that a lot better than Frankie. But if Benfica come out with their regular lineup or more defensive lineup, which I doubt because why would they, right? They're down 0-1. Then Frankie would be a good solution. Or maybe you could start Frankie, who's a lot more offensive, and try to score early. And then once you've scored early, you could take out Frankie and bring in Casado to give you more control. Not to mean park the bus. You continue attacking, but then you have Casado watching your back in case, any counter attacks. That could be a good option. That's why I like having Casado, and Frankie. Credit is due. Frankie's great at those forward runs. So it's really nice to have those two contrasts, right? Frankie, who's more of a more offensive profile, and Casado is more defensive profile. And that's amazing because it gives you two different options so you can have different setups, right? You need more control in midfield? Cool. Throw in Casado. He gives you more control. Oh, you want to be a little bit more offensive? You want a midfielder that can break some lines, that can make those runs from behind? Perfect. Throw in Frankie. Right? That's why it's good to have, different profiles on your squad. Isaac says, I just finished watching Villarreal. Oh, you talk about the player. YouTube comp for the second time without zero attachment, and this is my genius take. Well, it's a good bet risk, and we should take it. He is strong, tall, has some speed, and 19 years old. I agree 100%. Again, the fact that he will be a free agent, I think to me that's a no-brainer. Because again, if he comes and he ends up being another Vitor Roque and he just fails miserably, who cares? We didn't spend anything on him, right? Versus Vitor Roque, we spent 30 million plus 35, and then we almost eat it. But thankfully, Palmeiras came out of nowhere and signed him. So yeah, if he flops, fuck it. He didn't cost us anything. You could probably sell him and still make a profit. Like if he flops, some other team might want him. Maybe they'll pay, I don't know, 5 million, 3 million. Hey, that's still profit, right? And if he works out, dope. You just sign a star for nothing. I mean, who wouldn't want that deal? So I think these youngsters, like young players like this who cost very little or nothing, those are no-brainers. Barcelona should always make those bets any day of the week, right? Like David Oduro, Abdelaziz Isa, all these youngsters beside, even Noah Darvic is not working out, but who cares? He cost us 5 mil, versus signing Vitor Roque, 65 mil. That's a problem if he doesn't work out. Signing Dembele, who's 130 mil. That's a problem if he don't work out. I'd much rather spend on these youngsters who cost nothing or cost very little. And if they work out, great. You just got a hell of a bargain. And if they don't work out, who cares? You didn't lose much. Mabe says free is kind of safe approach. We can give him 2-year contract with option to extend if he performs. Exactly. Free option is always great when it comes to these youngsters, and especially because they are young. You can still sell them even if they don't work out. Mika Fai, we still sold him even though he only played at Barca Athletic and didn't play a single minute with the first team, and we still made money off him, and we still can make more money because we own rights in the player. All right, let's get back to the news, and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about Neymar. And you might say, Mo, why are you talking about Neymar? Well, as we know, there's been a lot of rumors in the past few weeks of Neymar supposedly going back to Santos to regain his form because he wants to come to Barcelona. We know Andre Curie, his former agent, and the agent of Vitor Roque said that Neymar will be delighted to come back to Barcelona. That will be feasible for Barcelona to sign him because he'll become a free agent in the summer. And there's so much rumors talking about, there was even articles suggesting that Barcelona have already started negotiations with him. There was even an article that said Barcelona had told him, if you score 15 goals, we'll sign you. What? I mean, just reading the headline right away, you could tell that article's full of crap. But anyways, after many, many weeks of rumors linking Neymar to Barcelona, like I said, as long as he's alive, he's always going to be linked with Barcelona. Deco finally came out and said, look, we're not thinking about Neymar, and Neymar shouldn't be thinking about us either. He was a great player. We wish him the best. I hope he's happy, blah, 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 blah. We discussed those statements in previous videos. Now, of course, I said time and time again that signing Neymar would be a huge mistake. I think he's a player who was finished. Let's be honest. Incredibly talented player. Incredibly talented player. An absolute joy to watch back in his heyday. But now he's just way past that. Not to mention how irresponsible and undisciplined he is. A player that just comes and goes as he pleases, does whatever the hell he wants, prefers to party than actually play. You know, how many times have we read stories about him disappearing, not showing up to training at PSG because he had left to some party at a yacht, or because he had hopped on a private jet to go party somewhere, or because of his sister's birthday. We don't need that, right? Not only is he a finished player that cannot contribute to this team, but we don't need that kind of drama, right? We have a very young, impressionable locker room, and the last thing we need is to set off a grenade like that in the middle of the locker room with a guy who's so indisciplined like Neymar. Now, when I said that, people said, crazy. No, you're crazy. You're a hater. You hate Neymar. Apparently, whenever people disagree with me, it just means I hate that person. It's just a lazy way to dismiss an argument. But anyways, people said I'm crazy, and well, guess what? Neymar is back at it, ladies and gentlemen, because Neymar supposedly was injured. He didn't train for 2 days, even though his team Santos were playing in the Paulista Championship. Now, Santos had to play without him, and they got eliminated. Now, where was Neymar, the injured Neymar who didn't train? He was in Rio for the Carnivals. He hopped on a private jet. He flew to Rio, and he was seen partying in Carnival. If you don't know what Brazilian Carnival is, look it up. It looks fun. I've never done it. And then, of course, the party ended at his mansion because he has a mansion in Rio. And the party lasted until the early hours of the morning. So, Neymar is back at it. Once again, claiming injured just so he can hop on a private jet and go party. And guess what's coming up? His sister's birthday. Something that he's never, ever, ever missed. You know, surprisingly, every year, Neymar always gets injured right around his sister's birthday. So it looks like he's back at it again with his shenanigans. And honestly, I'm not surprised. He's been doing that for years at PSG, in Saudi, now at Santos. And let's not forget, this is Santos. This is his childhood club. This is the love of his life when it comes to clubs. And it only took him, a month to already start ignoring his responsibilities for the sake of partying? Took him a month. At the club of his boyhood club. This is like Lamine doing this to Barcelona. Same thing. What do you think is going to happen when he comes to Barcelona? If he can't even commit to his boyhood club for more than a month, you think he's going to come to Barcelona and win a treble? It's going to be the same damn thing. He's going to show up, play 2-3 good matches, and then bam, there goes Neymar again, back in partying. We're going to be seeing him at the Barcelona nightclubs. And of course, he's going to be hopping on his jet to go party with his sister because he never ever misses his sister's parties. So I'm not crazy. I'm not a hater. I don't hate Neymar. I've always been a huge fan, but the reality is the reality. He's a Finnish player who's very responsible, very indisciplined. And the proof is right there. I'm not making this up. This is not just my opinion and not crazy. It's right there. If you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. Because this has been going on for years. That's why PSG got rid of him. They got sick of his shit. Saudi, he played 2 matches, and then finally they were like, okay, we need to get rid of this guy too. And now he's doing it to his boyhood club. I'm not crazy. The proof is right there. If you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. All right, let's do the chat section. All right. Where did we leave off? Let's see. Mabe says, I like the appeal that Xavi Hansi has brought to Barca. Players from the outside now wish they played for us. We lost that appeal for a long time. I don't think that's true. I think Barcelona have always had the appeal. I think it's FC Barcelona. Anybody wants to play. I mean, that's the reason why we were still able to sign players, even though the club was in shambles, right? I mean, Rafinha had so many offers, and he chose Barcelona. And this is when Barcelona were still going through a very rough patch, right? Kunde, he was on his way to Chelsea, and then he was like, Barca called, and he's like, oh, never mind, I'm going to Barca. Lewandowski, he could have easily retired at Bayern Munich, continued winning trophies. Instead, he came to Barca, right? Barcelona have always had the appeal. It's FC Barcelona. And this is something that I've actually criticized Bartomeu about, because Bartomeu, I don't know, Bartomeu always failed to harness that appeal that Barcelona had. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just fucking incompetent and stupid. And why do I say that? Because Bartomeu used to offer these players insane contracts. It's like, we've shown that you don't have to, because this is Barcelona. So many players, thousands, millions of players grow up dreaming of playing for Barca. You don't need to offer them crazy contracts. They will forego more lucrative contracts just to come and fulfill their dreams. We've seen that time and time again. Again, Rafinha, Kunde, Lewandowski, you name it. All these players had much more lucrative contract offers, and they said no to them to come to Barca. But Bartomeu used to be like, oh, who's the highest bidder? Oh, that club, they're offering you 100, I'll offer you 200. You don't need to do that, bro. You could have offered him 50. He still would have came, because this is FC Barcelona. People dream of playing at this club. And that's something Bartomeu always failed to use, or maybe he didn't fail to use it. Maybe he just was looking to bankrupt the club so he can turn it into, publicly owned entity and he can cash out. I don't know. But I think the appeal has always been there. And Texas Transplant continues with his generosity. He says, I watched Jamie with Talk FCB before you did your podcast. He thinks Barca should sign Neymar, and you don't. I mean, don't sign him, Cam. I'd love to see a great debate collab with you and him. Hey, whoever wants to invite me to their channel to collab, I'm all for it. I've been on several channels now. I love going to other channels. So whoever wants to invite me, let me know. Message me on Instagram, on Twitter, on here. I don't know if you can message people directly on YouTube, but anyways, I'm on social media. Let's put it that way. Isaac says, fun fact, Kobbie Mainoo is Ghanaian. Kina, and the Mainoo in his name is actually spelled Manu, M-A-N-U. Okay, that is the Ghanaian way. I read growing up in the UK, the UK people found it difficult with his name, hence Mainoo. Interesting. Cool. Thank you for that, my friend. I had no idea. Let's see. Mark says that swap will be so amazing. Take that in a heartbeat. I'm guessing you're talking about a Frankie from Mainoo. Oh, that would be amazing, but I don't think Frankie would want to go to Man U. But again, who would? It's a hot mess. Yamal's New World Order says Barca fans are so slow. You want to swap the only pivot who can control games. Casado is the total opposite of De Jong. That's why we need them both. Which pivot would control the game? Gabi? Well, that's the thing. You would be swapping Frankie for Mainoo. So it's not like you're sending Frankie and not bringing anyone in his place. You would be bringing Mainoo in his place. And, I think Mainoo could do Frankie's job for a longer time because he is younger. Ozzy says, hey, Mo, what do you think of Ter Stegen current situation? Do you think will cause him an effect when he is back in the lineup? I'm guessing you're talking about his divorce. I didn't mention it because I don't really like to mention details of players' personal lives. I think that's their business. The only thing I'll say is hopefully not. Hopefully, it won't affect him. I know he issued a statement actually today because apparently Radio Catalunya, which is a public radio, they had like this show where they had these people who were talking about the divorce and laughing, ha ha ha, and suggesting that Ter Stegen's wife had cheated on him, and he got really upset, and he said that's not okay. She didn't cheat on me. Like, don't spread fake news, and it just gets so nasty and messy, and it's like I don't really like to get involved in that thing. I'll criticize Ter Stegen for what he does on the field, not what he does in his personal life, unless of course he gets like arrested for beating up someone or something like that, right? But if he gets divorced or not get divorced, that's not my business. But I'll just say this: hopefully not. But they have I have seen studies that say the two most traumatic events in a person's life are the death of someone in your life, whether it's a relative or a loved one, or divorce. Those are the two most traumatic events that a person goes through. So hopefully not. I wish Ter Stegen and his wife, or soon to be ex-wife, good luck, the best. Hopefully it's an amicable divorce. Hopefully, they can continue being in each other's lives for the sake of their kids, and that's all I'll say. Hima's New World Order says Kobbie is average, just a headless ran chicken who collects yellow cards and gets praised for roaring because he's some fan favorite, annoying player to watch. I completely disagree. If you think that's all Kobbie has to offer, I'd say watch him closely. Watch him closely because he offers way more than that. SA says Neyser works for Barca B and do services beyond, but ultimately probably being sold profitable. If Barcelona side, Neyser is not going to be to profit off him. Like I always said, Barcelona is not a selling club. There's something a lot of people forget. They're like, oh, why are we selling this guy for this much? Or why Barcelona was making bad deals? Because we're not a selling club. If we sign someone, it's because we want to keep them as long as possible, get the most out of that player, and then, once they're old, yeah, sure, we'll sell them or they'll leave for free. But we're not a selling club. We don't sign players to build them up and build their price up and then sell them for profit. If a young player is promising, we're going to sign him and we're going to develop them so he can stay at the club his whole career and win us trophies and score goals. And then once he's old, we'll sell him, sure, but by then, you're not going to make any profit because he's old and his value has diminished. So yeah. Chukwanosa says Neymar can't fit into Flick's system. He no longer has the energy requirement for Atlanta's high press and intensity. Agree. Plus, even if he did, I just don't see him wanting to do it. Because what match was it? I think it was this last match. I saw this footage where the coach tells him go warm up, and he like gets up and then he sits back down, kind of like, can't tell me what to do. I just don't get it. Don't get it. The people that want Neymar back at the club. Rack says, I don't know why Pau Victor is not getting playing time. He's so good, better than Ferran. Look, I don't know personally, but if he's not playing, it's because he's not convincing Flick. That's all I have to say, because if anything, Flick has shown us that under him, players do play based on merit. And if Pau Victor is not getting minutes, it's because something's going on, right? Flick either thinks maybe he's not good enough, or maybe Flick believes he's not ready yet. One of the two. But I can't imagine that Pau Victor is not playing just because, I don't know, Flick was like, I don't like people whose last name is Victor, so he's not going to play, or I don't like his haircut. He probably sees something that doesn't sit well with him. In training. And Credence says, Blood never reads my comments. My bad, my friend. Look, just for you, I'm going to scroll up and see where your comment is. You sure you commented? I don't see a comment from you, man. Are you messing with me? Let's see. Credence. Okay, I'm almost done scrolling up. And I still don't see a comment from you. You're definitely messing up. I give up. Anyways, if you want to say something, just put it in the comment section. I'll leave. Oh, okay. Previous lives. Come on, man. You got me looking for your comment. All right, let's see. Ola Di Pupo says, I realize that most Barca fans watch football with pure sentiment. The way a lot of them have been so negative about Gabi is unreal. Yeah, I mean, that's just in general, not just Barca fan. Most fans do. Mm. That's why, for example, when I say something bad about Xabi, people just lose their mind. And they're like, "Mo, you're obsessed with Xabi." I'm like, "Am I?" Because I talk about hundreds of people on my channel, right? Current players, former players, future potential future players, coaches, previous coaches, board of directors, previous board of directors. Sometimes I talk about other clubs like Real Madrid. If they, I talk about La Liga, the CTA. You know, I literally talk about hundreds of people on my channel, but yet they only get triggered when I say Xabi's name, and they say I'm obsessed. So I'm like, am I really obsessed? Because who's obsessed? The guy who talks about hundreds of people, or the guy who gets triggered only with one name? Think about that. Let's see. SA says we still don't know who will be getting. We are too early. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to clarify, let me know. Let's see. Solil del says, Mo, do you think Pau Torres and Pau Victor should get more game time? Pablo Torre and Pau Victor should get more game time, or should they be loaned because they are still very young and they can still improve? That's a good question. I have a feeling that Pablo Torre doesn't play. He probably want to leave. Would I loan him? I honestly rather sell him. Not because I have something against him, but because I think he's a talented player who could be putting his skills to use. And in Barcelona, it's just not going to happen, right? So even if we loan him for a season and he comes back, still there's not going to be space for him because we have Bernal, we have Casado, we have Pedri, we have Frankie, we have Gabi, we have Fermin, all these players who are ahead of him. And I just, I hate to see his talent being wasted on the bench. So I would honestly rather sell Pablo Torre so he can get the minutes somewhere else and, have it, put his talent to use. He's young and he needs to be playing. And like I said, the footballer's career is very short, and it's a shame to watch him, just waste his career. As far as Pau Victor, if Pau Victor is not playing because Pablo Torre, we could still say he's talented, but he's not playing because too many midfielders. We can't say that about Pau Victor because we only have Lewandowski. So if he's not playing, it's because Flick sees something. So if Flick thinks that Pau Victor is not good enough, then maybe we should sell him, because if you're not good enough, you're not good enough, right? But if Flick is not playing him because he thinks Pau Victor needs more time, then yeah, sure, it could be a good option to loan him out so he can, develop better and then come back. Mr. Misterio says, I need some Saudi Arabian club to overpay 80 million euros or more for Lewandowski. I mean, look, Lewandowski's staying until 2026, so he's not going anywhere. And, he shouldn't. He's our top goal scorer. If Lewandowski was sold this last summer, who would have scored his 34 goals today? 34 goals. That's a lot. Not to mention for a 36-year-old, 34 goals. That's a lot. Tony says, Sup Mo, I don't agree with Barca's assessment about wanting to find a center forward who is flexible on wing. We need a dedicated 9. We get great and constant results. Look at Lewa and Suarez. The problem is, unfortunately, it's just our financial situation. I'm sure Barcelona would love to have a dedicated center forward and to have, 2 great wingers on each side that can swap with each other, and also a backup center forward. I'm sure Barcelona would love to have 6 players up front, 2 per position, but unfortunately we don't have the money, so we have to make do, right? And if they can sign a center forward who could also play on the wings, that would be the ideal situation. It's unfortunate, but that's our financial reality. There's not much around it. And we do have a donation for my friend Nathan. Thank you so much for your generosity. He says, hi Mo, is there any news on the CS Benjamin Sesko, Dusan Vlahovic, and Lukman? No news, of course. These are all names that are being considered, where Vlahovic is more of, he offered himself more than Barcelona are considering him. Lukman is someone that Barcelona are keeping an eye on. Sesko as well. But of course, as we know, Barcelona are not looking to sign any center forwards until the summer of 2026. They want to keep Lewandowski for next season, and they want to prioritize the left wing and the right back positions for the summer. Of course, ideally, Barcelona would love to sign a center forward and a left winger and the right back this summer, but given our finances, we cannot. So since we cannot, they have to prioritize. And right now, the center forward, given that we have Lewy, they prefer to postpone it till summer 2026. All right, with that, we will end the live podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, and your incredible generosity with your donations. I will be uploading another video tonight. So I will see you there. And then tomorrow, Champions League. Let's go. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.